right? So let's take as an employee and as a founder on this marketing role. So who makes more money?
Specialist at any given cost. There is no debate, there is no conversation about it.
So can you share our audience any resources which you do have which help you be an expert here?
I think HubSpot is doing a great job. The second person is Neil Patel. This is a very famous personality in the marketing industry.
How do you keep yourself on the trend wise when it comes to SaaS marketing? So as per your conversation, I was able to understand at first someone probably you wanted to start, you have to start writing something, and then you will get into all the keywords, all the
Yes,
tactics which is required after writing on a consistent basis. From there, probably you can move on to content writing, and from there you can move on into SEO,
exactly.
right?
So there
So
has to
this
be.
is
Mm-hmm. So sorry.
yeah. So is this how that works in the SaaS marketing probably, or is there any other different way? See, there are two ways people can easily get reference. Let's take, I wanted to get into a company. I know someone who's already working in an organization who can refer me to that role. But then I have only basic area that is also a startup. Me going there and learning all these things. So that is a different story, right? So going into an organization and learning is a different story. But then these days the scenarios is getting harder in India, right?
Yeah.
So I need to have the right skills so that I can enter into this company. So for that, probably I have to start writing first, either content writing, blog writing, or SEO contents, or copywriting. All the skills are some basic
Yeah.
essential skills. Is what I am understanding on your perspective to
Right.
enter into a marketing role.
I'll help you with a very interesting example, Anish. 2 days before, I was speaking to a very interesting founder. He actually told me he was again a marketing agency, content marketing, and he told me how he landed the only client he wanted to work with by writing content for him for free. The client had no idea. He ranked the client top 5 on Google search results, and that is how the client ended up making a contract with him. And the client was actually working with another content marketing agency. They canceled the contract because of the work this guy had done. Even before, he did not speak to the client, nothing. He just ensured he did the effort. He waited for a month. It was organically ranking. His research, his content, his headlines, topics were on point. And then he just told the client, guys, I want to work. This is what I've done for you. Right? That's just an example. But like, that was
Understood.
his
That's
first SaaS breakthrough into this. Yeah.
got it. So I have one more interesting question, right? So let's take as an employee and as a founder on this marketing role. Let's take someone has a marketing agency,
Yeah.
and someone is working as an marketing SaaS marketing specialist or whatever the roles you call it, right? So who makes more money?
Specialist at any given cost. There is no debate, there is no conversation about it. The reason being, being a generalist is really tough, Anish. You have to understand so many verticals. You have to prove that you are expertise in all these things. And if you are running an agency, which means that you have people under you, you have to pay their bills, you have to pay their salaries, you have to pay the tools, and then you have to get each client and do entire 360 degree. And maybe I have to even see if my SEO team is giving the impact which I would have as an individual. Whereas if there is just a specialized person in paid ads, let's take an example. Enough of content, now let's move on to something else. Performance marketing, Google, Meta, this guy knows how to get 3x ROI minimum. For every dollar spent, he will give me $3 in return. He will give me the required clicks, the required leads, the engagement which I want on each of these campaigns. And he's just doing the same thing for all of them. He has mastered that formula, he has mastered how to do it, and now he's just replicating. And by leaking that one formula, giving that one insight, it's so easy for him to get the clients, because he's just sharing his USP, his differentiator. Whereas the marketing generalist or an agency, I have to prepare different proposals, I have to do the market research, I have to define the target audience, tell what works for that brand. Maybe SEO works for that SaaS tool, maybe YouTube marketing we should try. So it has to be a custom package. But now there is a but into it, because For some people, they would want to learn so much of everything, but they still want to specialize in one thing, right? That is what will make you a special person, at least stand you from out the crowd. Now, I tell you that I do all things marketing, but I love SEO, right? I love writing content. I love leading the content marketing of marketing. That is my specialty, USP, differentiator, whatever you call it. Now, I can serve as a specialist in that with a generalization of other things. You want other things? Well and good. I have knowledge. You don't want? Okay, I'll let you hire people. I also know how to hire them because I've worked in those fields. So, my thing will be, you start off with a specialist. Never start with all things. And first of all, if you're like really new to SaaS or really new to marketing, take all of it, try it out, and then you will realize what works for you. You might just down the lines, you might have a small thing for something you enjoy doing a lot, or you are able to see immediate results. Maybe influencer marketing, Instagram marketing is for you. Maybe you're really good on YouTube because you have your own podcast and you know how to do all of that. You've learned YouTube ads, stuff like that. Find that one thing. But tomorrow, when you work with a client, when you work with a founder, when you are pitching, or when he's telling you the problem, you're telling him that, I think in this domain SEO also worked because I've worked as an SEO in this. So that really helps. Plus, they are your longevity of that contract extension, the amount of trust they put in you because you have done other things helps, but your specialization is what keeps you rooted to that client and that company.
So can you share our audience any resources which you do have which help you be an expert here?
You mean, okay, so yeah. First of all, there is nothing easier than trying it out on your own, right? I would propose it in this way. Firstly, if you are just starting out, take this as a side time, a part-time job, and treat some client, pick up, prepare some proposal for someone so that they give you a chance. But even to land there, after you have basic knowledge of all these marketing collaterals and you've created some proof of work for them, you're pitching to them, you want them to give you a chance to be their SaaS marketer because this is what you can do. Don't ask from them what you have to do, right? Tell them that this is all that I can do. Then, to seek feedback, to seek honest, brutal feedback, you need to have a community. You need to have people like you, like me, like other marketers in the industry to evaluate your strategy and how did you come up with this, to tell you what is wrong, why did that founder not choose you. For that, you have to do a lot of one-on-one calls. There are many people on LinkedIn who connect, who share their advices, who have done things, who want to help others grow. So I would say that shamelessly post it out there once you've done some work. Ask people for feedback because you think you're the best if you have done something, but trust me, there is like you have not even started. You're minus. You're not even at the zero level. That is the feedback when you interact with a lot of these people. The best resource is to reach out to people with no count. 50, 100 in a day, that's okay. Many will convert, many will give you positive feedback, many will not. The ones who are not giving are going to be super helpful. Few other things which really help normal marketers in general today. I think HubSpot is doing a great job. At any given point, if I have a question, I just Google HubSpot blogs. Every time HubSpot is like ranking, if I Google it or if I just search social media marketing or performance marketing, because that is how they have grown and their content is so top notch that I feel that they've written it for my existing situation. Whatever I'm going through, I'm able to relate all the articles that they have written. HubSpot videos, HubSpot blogs. The second thing is HubSpot also offers certifications. So there's a HubSpot Academy. And if you are like a marketer in general getting started, no proof of work, no certification, get something so that your first few contracts, your first few founders, CEOs, they trust you. Do those HubSpot certifications from Academy. The second person is Neil Patel. This is a very famous personality in the marketing industry. This guy has a crazy YouTube channel. He shares daily practices on SaaS tools, products, in general marketing, and he has his amazing website. So follow this guy. There are two other communities which I would mention. First is Belkins. Belkins is specifically for SaaS and B2B. The second one is Online Geniuses. But there is a constraint that these guys would want your LinkedIn, your proof of work. You should have done something in order to be part of these communities, which is why this was last on my recommendation list, because even if the viewers watching this, they would want to enroll, it might be possible that they're not accepted to these communities until they have done some proof of work, which is like a getting started benchmark. So when you even look out for, if I have SaaS Slack communities to get added to, people have, you need to have some proof of work to get added to those communities, right? That is where you do all the behind the scenes. You connect with people on LinkedIn, then you seek honest feedback, and last step is joining these online communities.
Got it. Got it. So that's really great. So, and one last questions to wind off with. So, how do you keep yourself on the trend wise when it comes to SaaS marketing? Let's take when it comes to Instagram, when it comes to B2C marketing, people go and see Instagram. What is the trend?
Yeah.
Go on YouTube and see what is the trend, and it's very simple to get adopted, right? So,
Yeah.
when it comes to B2B, how do you keep yourself updated to the current trend? Or
Very
are there any resources or is there any tool where you learn all these things?
Yeah, interesting question. A very weird response. Your audience might not be able to relate to it, but the ones who really do, I'm sure it's going to be helpful. As a marketer, you should know product marketing, right? You should try to step yourself in the shoes of a product manager. You should know operations. Now marketing is just one vertical, but the company runs with the actual product and everything. So as a SaaS marketer, you should know what is SaaS. You should know how these product managers, how these founders are building their products. I don't follow any SaaS marketing channels. I follow product related, SaaS related, hardcore conversations that founders, how they build those tools. If I know their pipeline of what stage they are in, how did they do the initial research, how they got the first 1,000 users and stuff like that. As a marketer, my job is to help apply what I have, plus think of something new. Now, if I'm already using the existing SaaS marketing resources, don't you think, Anish, it will constrain my knowledge and I will end up applying the same XYZ things to every different SaaS client that I get? I don't want to do that. I want to
Right.
understand their product. I want to understand that, okay, if there is Loom, there are five different competitors of Loom. I listen to those podcasts, I listen to those channels who tell me what they applied. Maybe this guy is not doing that. And marketing is nothing but helping them grow in any manner. It can be initial users, it can be beta testers, it can be helping them with a different tweak, it can be an integration with tools like SaaS. You have to do all of that, because only then you're able to say that as a revenue officer or as a marketing officer, you got to tweak with their numbers, or you told them, you give them those impacts. So I follow, and trust me, like, this gives me more kick as compared to marketing resources. I follow Lenny's podcast is like really good for SaaS product based conversations. Then I follow Nathan is another guy, top notch SaaS founders interviews. You listen to it, you'll feel like, why am I into marketing? I want to do product, but product is so difficult. Plus, you get a different perspective. You're always into the same marketing, so at least that knowledge opens up your brain, and then you feel like, okay, now I can think about how do I talk to these founders. And that is the best way to even establish communications with your SaaS founders, because they're like, okay, she's just not just a marketer, but then she has more knowledge on the entire industry overall. So master
And
your industry, then work on it using your existing knowledge is the
so at
solution.
the end, listening podcast is very important.
Very
Right?
much. Listen to
Not forget to
Anish.
subscribe also.
Yes.
Cool. So, one last question, just if you wish, we'll
Yeah.
add it over here. Right. So, can you show us screen share and show us like how does your portfolio look like so that people get an idea? Okay, so what work Prabhjit has done so far?
The toughest thing of getting started is creating a portfolio. Okay, you can see my screen, right?
Yes, that's great.
So let me go back. Okay. Now, the toughest thing is to create a portfolio, because when you are working, you just go ahead and you curate a lot of work. You have things, but you just don't know how to come up together. Trust me, this took me a month, over than a month. And the best part is all these amazing people who gave me a chance. They've already, when I was leaving my company, they wanted me to work as a co-founder. I did not tell them what to write, right? This is hardcore conversations, and all these are established professionals in their fields, whatever they are working. And the easiest thing you can do is just take a reference of one portfolio, one person who you admire, whom you want to work for, or maybe you want to be that person, and then go ahead and write about it. So I am 100% like, I try to cover all things marketing, which is why you see I added each of these sections. So I do all of it, and even if you ask me in sleep, I'll be able to tell you what all is written and how did we do it, because I actually was involved and leading most of it for the most part. So seven-figure gross revenue and 100,000 users and stuff like that. SEO is first because, as I said, Anish, my SEO, I have a thing for it. I started first marketing with SEO and content marketing. So this is like the first section. If you see, 100K increase, 300% growth in non-branded traffic. Like, people who are marketing experts, they're able to relate how difficult it is, right? But the amount of confidence we have today is because we have done those things. And then performance marketing, social media, just sharing it in pointers. One really
Got it.
important thing is sharing numbers as much as possible, because that is what gets people, gets
Adapted
yeah,
towards stick to yards of it.
seniority. Yes. And so this is my one job role as a marketing manager. And then these were the other roles. As I said, I started out as a community manager, so I do take pride in sharing this as well. And then head of student relations, I got promoted from this to this and all those things. And then these were my previous experiences, which is okay because it's your stepping ladder. But I would want people to only have a look at my marketing experience, because that is what domain we are in. But I've worked as a business development representative, as a salesperson, as an operations team lead, as customer support. So when I talk about all the verticals of building a company, I've tried to be there as much as possible. The most
That's
important part is your software skills and the tools that so this is like highly important. Try to share this, and this is very outdated. I've learned so much more and I would want to add here, but whenever I get time. Then sharing some academics and a CTA, super important for marketing people, guys. Like, for non-marketing people, CTA is call to action. So anytime anyone is landing, they would want to book a call with me, so I have this real-time updated calendly. And I also do one-on-one counseling, etc., with people. So I help them with their regular career doubts. Some female out there aspiring to grow in their careers wherever they're stuck, some marketing people, or in general, founders and startup related conversations. I'm not an expert, but I just try to understand the person's journey and maybe one advice that can be helpful. So feel free to get on a call if interested.
that's really nice, and thanks for joining this podcast and
Thank you,
answering all the
Anish.
XYZ questions and solving all the doubts about how people can enter into SaaS market.
Yep,
Right.
yep.
So I believe you would also be there to help, and if someone wants to understand deep about how where do they start, or they wanted you to evaluate their portfolio, I believe Prabhjit is available anytime. Please check her Calendly. We have shared the link also down below. You can book. You
Yes.
can book your slot with Prabhjit and get benefit out of it.
Yes, and do connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm sure Anish will drop the link in the show notes. And definitely excited to learn about your journey and excited to answer, in general, any marketing questions you had, even outside of marketing. Let's not keep our knowledge only to one domain, right? As I said, open it up. So feel free to have any conversations with you all. Awesome job. Thank you so much, Anish. Thanks for having me
Thank
here.
you.